Hello, hello, hello. I'm Andrea Joyce, and I am the author of 31 Ways to Self Care. Self caring matters. Boy, we are almost at the end of the book. Can you believe we're on chapter 30? Thank you guys for rocking with me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for buying your book. You haven't bought your book yet? You can get your book today. Go to Amazon or Barnes& and Noble online. You can go to my website, andreajoyce.net, or authorandreajoyce.com. Get your book today. Chapter 30, Pamper Yourself. One of the ways I have self-cared the most is pampering myself. Why? Because I never did. I never did. I always did stuff for other people. I would give the shirt off my back if I could for someone else. But to take care of myself, my physical health has been in the toilet at times because I did not care for myself. My mental health has been challenged because I did not pamper myself or put myself first or prioritize myself. So when I began the self-care journey, 2017, so it's been 5 years, because I was going through some things and I had to start living. I hadn't lived before then. Oh, you saw me places, I was doing things, but I wasn't caring for myself. 2017, I believe, is when I started taking trips with my family, my sister and cousins, and doing girls trips and going away. Started in 2017, going to parties to celebrate people's birthdays, anniversaries, going to weddings. I wasn't doing any of this for real because of all the stuff that I had been through, and I was just so tired and drained in life. In 2017, I decided to start living. That's how all this self-care came about. I didn't even know what it was called. I just knew I was doing it. It actually was my niece, Kiana Bowman, who told me what self-care was and explained it to me. And I was like, oh, this is what I'm focusing on, putting myself first, like giving to myself, doing for myself. My oldest daughter, Isis, will tell you to this day, she had an issue with me before 2017. The issue was I would buy something for myself, feel guilty about it, and take it back to the store. I would feel guilty to do anything for myself. I'm like, I could use this money for a bill. I can do something for the kids. I can make sure that they have this. And I would just return it. Even like when I bought it, as I was walking out of the store, I would turn around and say, no, it's okay. I really didn't need this. I might be at the register and put it away. Walking up to the register, put it back. I would not do things for myself. And I know people don't believe that, but I promise you, for years I've been that way. Ever since we were homeless, I have been in this mindset of feeling guilty for doing anything for myself. But when I went through hell in 2017 with a house that was falling apart around me, with a friend who wasn't a friend, and her trying to break up the family and causing me to lose my job, or one of the reasons why, well, she was the cause of me losing my job. When I was going through all of that negativity, I decided when I stepped foot on solid ground, meaning when I got through all these storms and hits, that I was going to start prioritizing myself, because I found myself being in a place where I was losing hope. I was in a bad way, health wise, mentally and physically, emotionally. And if anything were to happen to me, one of the things I would have regretted was I did nothing for me. And so I decided then and there I was going to prioritize myself, treat myself well, because nobody else was. So I needed to do it for myself. I didn't know at that time that that was self-care, but that's exactly what I was doing, and I continue to do to this day. Pampering yourself. Sometimes, now, I'm going to be very honest with you. When I was going through depression, This was in 2014, 2013, 2014. One of the things I wanted, one of the things I prayed for, one of the things I wished would happen was people would pour into me attention, gifts, because I was going through and I didn't have money. I wasn't working. I had been without a job since 2011. I had a side job that I worked sometimes, but there might not be hours for. So there was times that I didn't have money. And I was like, if I just had $5 to take myself to a movie so I could come out of this depressive area of my life. If I had $10 to, I don't know, get something to eat from somewhere that's not my refrigerator that I have to cook. If I just had 30 minutes of time away from this and out of this depressive home that I don't know how I can afford. That drained me so much because I had nothing and no escape. Everything was right there. All I could do was stay in my apartment. I didn't have transportation. And nobody really checked on me for real. And I was going through one of the most depressing times in my life. The first one, see, this is why you gotta get seen past the storm. I'm not gonna tell you, excuse me. I think there's a gnat trying to get into production. I'm not going to tell you my story because I want you to get seen past the storm. So you're going to have to buy it. But when I tell you this was the second most depressive time I've had in my life, it was very bad. That's all I'll say. And I just wanted to come out of that depression. I wanted to come out of that depressive atmosphere, that depressing atmosphere environment. I just wanted to come out of that and have some kind of relief, even if only for 5 minutes, even if it was just $5 or $10 that I could have had to just do something, anything. Because of that, I decided, excuse me one second. Because of that, I decided, I told you I'm a director. I'm going to get the camera right. I decided that when I got my foot planted in 2017, because I had been that far gone in 2013 or 2014, that I was going to start doing for me. I was going to start pouring into me and having things that I liked, doing things I wanted to do. I was going to be selfish and take my life back. Why did I say selfish? I'm glad you asked, because it's not selfish to care for yourself. It's not selfish to want better for yourself. It's not selfish to do things for yourself. Please don't feel guilty. Now, it's selfish when all you do is think of yourself. When you put yourself before everybody else every single time and you don't consider them. That's being selfish. But caring about yourself, loving yourself, liking yourself, pampering yourself, spoiling yourself sometimes is not selfish at all. So, in 2020, I started taking trips in 2017 with my family. God bless them. And I'm going to shout them out. God bless my sister Regina. God bless my cousin Nikki. God bless my cousin Michelle. Thank you guys. From the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. Because without those girls' trips, I wouldn't have made it. That was the catalyst. That was the beginning for me pampering myself. In that time, I decided I was going to go back and start doing my nails. If anybody knows me from high school, my nails were always done. I didn't have tips back then. I had my own natural nails. My nails grew so long, they looked like tips, but I would have nails and they were this long and they grew in squares. So just the way that I have this tip is the way my natural nails were. And as a matter of fact, honestly, on both hands, there are a couple of nails that are actually mine. They're not tips because my nails grow like that. They have always. So back then in the it was really the 80s when I started getting my nails done. It cost a lot, and you didn't have all these fancy designs back then. You had like even the marble. When I started getting my nails, the marbleization wasn't happening yet. You might have had colors and like a decal, a sticky thingy a sticker that you put on your nails like that. But I always loved having my nails done. My cousin Peter used to tell me, if a woman's nails are not done, there's no need to put on any makeup because it's your hands that men really pay attention to. So he would always tell me that. So I always wanted my nails done. Not to get the attention of men, but I always wanted, that was like the place that I was able to express myself. Being a dark skinned woman growing up, I didn't wear a lot of bright colors. Like now I do. You see me in my red, you'll see me in my yellows, you'll see me in my oranges, you'll see me in bright, loud colors because it looks great with my complexion. Not bragging, just saying. But back then, I didn't have a love of my complexion. So the only place I wore colors was my nails. So I always wanted them done so I could express myself. The other thing was my hair, my crown. I always wanted my hair done. Now, my Aunt Phyllis would always say, you could have on the baddest outfit, the baddest shoes, but if your hair is not done, you're not done. You're just finished. And she would beat that in my head. So back then, when I didn't have any children or responsibilities, it was just me, and I was a spoiled child of my aunts and uncles. I used to get my hair done every week. It's just a thing I did. But going through situations and problems, I stopped doing it. I grew locks, and even then with locks, I wasn't caring for them the way that I should because I was depressed in 2013, 2014, right? But after a point in time in 2017, I was like, I'm not living for anybody else. I'm living for me. I wouldn't do colors because of where I worked. I wouldn't put fancy beads or decorations in my hair because of what people would say. And I finally got to a point where I said, I am going to live for Andrea. So because I'm going to live for Andrea, Andrea's going to do her hair the way she wants it done. And thankfully, the times we live in now, there are places that accept you for who you are, the way you are. And so my locks are long. I've cut them once. My daughter actually cut them in 2019. I was able to sit on them almost before. She cut them up here in 2019. Here we are in 2020. They have grown. My hair will always be red because it's a color that I love. Look, I'm messing up my hair design. A color that I love. It symbolizes the fire that I have within me. This is the outside representation of what I feel inner me has. So pampering myself, getting my nails done, getting my eyebrows arched, but it's pretty, okay, look, I'm trying to fix the eyebrows. I sit and talk to you. My eyebrows are pretty much arched the way they're going to be arched. That was a blessing. Sometimes I get lashes, sometimes I don't. It just depends. I love oils, so I go and get oils that you put on your body, and then my essential oils. So I do things to pamper myself. Now, what I'm supposed to be doing is once a week taking myself out. I started that in 2021. I started doing once a week, taking myself out. One of my favoriteest places to go, favoriteest again, is IHOP. I know y'all might be like, IHOP. I love IHOP. It's one of my favorite places, and I can have the best pancakes on the planet after my mother's. And I used to take myself there once a week for breakfast. Sometimes I took myself out to eat for seafood, or I would go meet friends for seafood and things like that. So I was pampering myself. This year has kind of slowed down on the pampering. My daughter just had a granddaughter. I wanted to make sure that I was able to help her. My kids, high school, senior. I had a senior graduate this year. I have a senior now graduating next year. You know, he was a senior. She was a junior, but he graduated this year. She's graduating next year. So you need money. So I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do, but I have begun taking money out of my check and putting it into a fund. I can't even think of the name of it, but this is the fund. That's what we're going to call it. The fund. And in the fund, I take out a percentage of money and I put it in the envelope for 2 weeks because I get paid every 2 weeks. And so within 2 weeks, right, every week I got to do something. So half of the money is for the current week and half of the money is for the next week until my next payday. So I'm constantly having to do something. And if I don't do anything, I can't use that money for anything else but taking myself out. That's it. And that started about 2 months ago. My baby sister Amina and I are doing that together, and it's a trip. I really need to check in with her to see if she's been doing it. Um, I went on my birthday trip, so I have not been doing it. I have spoiled myself and pampered myself. Believe me, that trip was enough of a pampering for the whole 2 3 months. So I'm good. I'll probably start back up once I'm back to work. Once I make sure my mother is good and she's okay, and then I can do things for myself again. I'm still going to do things. It's just not going to be taking myself out probably, but I'm going to make sure my nails are done, or taking a hot warm bath. Not hot, because hot's not good for your skin, but a warm bath with bubbles sometimes, because sometimes bubbles are not good for your skin either. You just got to know what you can. I'm sensitive. You just got to know what you can handle and what you can't. Doing facials. I don't, but I may. Just doing simple things, small things they seem like, but when I tell you how major they are, just think about it. A bath with nice, soothing, warm water all the way up to here, silence, or with some Luther Vandross playing, or whoever your person is, he's mine. Candle lights, not having to answer a phone. Oh, pampering at its best. So, do me a favor. Now that I've given you all my history and you know all my secrets, go ahead and pamper yourself. Do something for you and do not feel guilty for doing it. Because if you don't pamper yourself, even though there are people who will pamper you, sometimes you got to wait for them. You got to throw hints. You can just take yourself out. You can just get yourself that dress that you always wanted, those heels. I'm a shoe person. Love my shoes. Oh, shoes and purses are my thing. And Tiffany's. If Tiffany's would ever just like to shout me out one day. I love Tiffany's. Um, do something for you and don't feel guilty about it. Just don't do something detrimental that's going to cause you to lose out. Like, don't tip into your rent money. That's why I said this money is separate. It's a percentage of money that I use. It's not bill money. You still got to pay your bills, because unfortunately you could pamper yourself all you want, the bills are still coming. So do me a favor and start this week pampering yourself. Pampering yourself is a great way to self-care. Self-care matters. It's something you should prioritize every single day.